Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It is on the Gregorian calendar, it is a 7th day, June 12th, and there is a depopulation scheme that isn't just been hatched, that hasn't just been thought up, but is being fully executed upon the entire world's population. And this goes back to the days of the beginning. And if you look in the book of Jasher, and not even Jasher, if you look in the book of Genesis, one of the very first commandments that we ever have is to be fruitful and multiply the earth. That was our job, is we were supposed to raise kids, bring up families. We were supposed to populate the earth. That was a commandment of our Creator, Elohim. So in Jasher 1:6, I want to go over this real quick because there is the same scheme that is happening right now to sterilize the entire world has already been thought up, had already been hatched, and had already been basically stopped by our Creator, by the things he did. In Jasher 1:6, and Elohim blessed them and called their names Adam and Kwa. In that day that he created them, and Yahuwah Elohim said, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. And for those who do not know who Adam and Kwa is, it's essentially the Adam and Eve. All the names of the people that we know have been corrupted, especially the name of our God, who is Yahuwah. But they've all been taken out, and there's no such name as Eve. Eve was not the mother of all the women out there. That's her name was Kwa, or I don't know how they exactly say it, but it's not Chwa, it's Kwa. And so it's important that we get our names right. It's important that we call upon the correct name, because there is only one name under heaven by which you may be saved. And as most people will fight you to the end because they've been indoctrinated with a King James Version Bible, our Messiah's name is not Jesus. His name is Yahushua. And God's name is not God. That's a surtitle. His name is Yahuwah. And like right here, Yahuwah in verse 6. So let's go into the depopulation scheme of back in the day. And in Jasher, we can find a little bit about this, and we'll discuss this. Jasher 2:20. And some of the sons of men caused their women to drink a draught that would render them barren, in order that they might retain their figures, and whereby their beautiful appearance might not fade. So this right here is a scheme of men, and it is a scheme to keep your women and wives or whatnot looking the same day that you found them, right? And many men would be very ecstatic having their women look exactly the day that they found them. But that is not the way it should be. The way it should be is that as young men, we meet up with our young women and we grow old together. We get wrinkly, we get old, we end up in diapers together. That's the nature of things, right? This is what it is. But these guys back in the day, and this is completely ordained and inspired by Hasatan, that they had them drink a special drink, and it destroyed them. It destroyed their uteruses. It destroyed their ability to have children. And let's go to 21. And when the sons of men caused some of their women to drink, Zillah drank with them. And this is not part of Zillah, is not, I won't go into that, who she is. And the childbearing women appeared abominable in the sight of their men as widows, while their men lived, for to the barren ones only they were attached. So all of a sudden, we have a whole slew of women that never got heavy, that never ever had children, that never ever lived that part of life, because their men made them essentially, it's not a fountain of youth, but it essentially, they cannot get pregnant. And that is where most women get large, is during their first pregnancies. It's just the way it is, right? The women are those kind of creatures that are able to, an amazing creature of Yah, that are amazing to produce children. And how they produce children is by getting larger, and that's just the nature of the game. Verse 23. And in the end of days and years, when Zillah became old, Yahuwah opened her womb. So that's not where I want to roll to. It's only to 22. So let's go back and let's talk about what is happening today. Because just like the days of them being tricked, everybody's being tricked today. And for those with eyes to see, ears to hear, you know exactly what I'm saying. The world of YouTube, you can no longer say truths that will go against what the mainstream narrative is. And when you look at the mainstream narrative, we're dealing with a bunch of people in white coats, and their mascot or their logo is a couple snakes crawling up a staff, right? The masters of the world today are the pharmaca. And the pharmaca is what is now sterilizing all the women and men of the world. And if you don't know what I mean, simply go and research some of the doctors that have examined those who have already been through the new process, right? The new process, and all of the men are sterile. All of the women are coming out sterile. The last days and moments and generations of our lives are over. For those who are going along with this system and taking what they are offering, it is making them sterile. And so we are violating one of the very first commandments of be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth, because there's a very small percentage of very evil people. And for years and years and years, they said there's too many people, it's too much tax on the earth. And that's why you hear all about this climate stuff, right? Another hoax of man that is trying to tax man for stuff that doesn't exist. But we are all stuck in this kind of a matrix. And the only way that I can see out of this matrix is by understanding what the Word of God says. Understanding that our Creator, Yahuwah, wants us to be fruitful and multiply. He's always wanted us to be fruitful and multiply. So when you are young and you find a wife, your job is to have kids. And yeah, it's a hard job having kids. It's a discipline. It is a lifestyle. It is something different than the freedom of not having kids and the freedom of just, living that life is about. So for every parent that is out there, I completely salute you. You have my complete respect, because it is hard raising children, and it is hard making that decision. It is hard going from a bachelor style to married to have kids. And look at the world today. How many children have we offered up to Moloch? How many children are on the operating tables, especially in Babylon? Babylon kills 4 to 5, 6, 1,000 children a day. And this is worldwide. This is worldwide, even into Israel, right? Israel, the people the modern day Jews who people, they idolize and they worship, and they think that these people are God's people. Well, our Creator in his Torah says we should not murder. We should not offer our children to Moloch. And that is what we do. And you can call it a choice. You can call it whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, it is a life, and it is a blessing in a life that our Creator has bestowed upon you. Even if your child was born through rape, or even if your child was born through incest, it is still a child of the Most High. You may resent that child because of how that child came, but that is not the child's fault. None of this is a fault of the child. So we're supposed to be fruitful and multiply. And even if your child came from nefarious activities, it is still your child. It is still a being. It is still something that you should love and take care of. And if the world had a ton more love, we wouldn't be where we are at. We are at a very strange place right now. And these are the days of Noah. If you don't think that we are in the days of Noah, simply look out your window and look at the people lining up for what they are taking, and look at the insanity that is going on, right? And if you are tricked to getting free donuts and free beers and free marijuana and free airplane tickets and free cars and free lotteries and free money and this, and if you're being tricked into breaking a commandment of our Creator, which is to be fruitful and multiply, because once you're tricked, you are no longer ever going to be fruitful, and you will not multiply in the same way. And you can look at the 50s and 60s when they did these same kind of experiments on people, and all the kids came out with little tiny flipper hands, right? It destroy what children will be born in the next coming years will not be the same quality as children that were born prior to what they are doing to everybody right now. So you got to be careful what you're saying on YouTube. I hope you guys understand what I am saying, and I hope you guys have a tremendous Sabbath. I hope you guys are spending time with our Creator. I hope you guys, first and foremost, are even keeping the Sabbath, because that is where it begins. I found that most people that reject the Sabbath reject everything else about our Creator. And this day is a special day to Him. Without a shadow of a doubt, this is a day that we are supposed to hold in reverence. We are supposed to spend time with our Creator. We are supposed to be with our Creator. We are supposed to learn. We are supposed to rest. And this is what will mark. If you understand what I'm saying, the mark of the beast has come. It hasn't quite gone, but it is amongst us right now. And if you want the mark of Elohim, if you want the mark of Yahuwah, that begins with Sabbath keeping. That begins with Torah keeping. That begins with changing your life and becoming a holy people that is ordained unto our Creator. This world is lost. The people in this world are lost. There are not futures and generations before us. This is the end of time. This is the end of the road that we are at. This is the end of the ages. We are entering into a new age. We are entering into a iron mixed with clay. We are into a different world, guys. And I urge you to pick up your Bibles to read Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Read it as a lifeline to you. Read it as a love letter from our Creator to you. Once you understand that these laws of God are good today, tomorrow, forever, up to 1,000 generations, right? We're only 200 some generations since Adam, and our Messiah says for 1,000 generations, and heaven and earth will pass away before the Torah is gone. There won't be one letter, one period, one comma, or nothing taken out of the Torah until heaven and earth pass away. And I'm looking out, and I still see earth, I still see heaven. As chemtrailed as we are, I still see it, and it hasn't passed away. Hope you guys have a great Sabbath. Much love to everybody.